Welcome into this week's edition of the Co-Lin Coaches Show. Again, all about the spring sports, and we're going to start off with softball. Coach Howard joining me as always, and Coach, thanks for joining me.
Fun to be here.
And Coach, obviously a week where a little bit of a week and a half. We're going to talk about 6 games. You go 5-1 on them. The good news is we get to talk about the loss first. I don't know if that's necessarily good news, but hey, we get to talk about 5 wins after that. And then the loss came against probably the highest ranked opponent you've played in conference play, that being the number 5 Lady Wildcats out of Pearl River. And you split with them. You lose game 1, 9-1. And your thoughts overall on that one?
It was just not our game. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. We just couldn't get anything going, and it was just like we were not physically, mentally focused or ready for that particular game.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about it afterwards because I got the chance to go with y'all with not playing on the same day as baseball. It kind of felt like when we didn't score in that first inning and they turned around and scored 3, it was like, you don't want to say deflated, but it kind of hurt a little bit. And then you thought maybe if you can hang a 0 in the next inning, even though you didn't score, if you hang another 0, but they scored 3, and that really kind of felt like that took a lot of the wind out of your sails. Even though you did score the 1 run, kind of got you back into it with AG hitting that triple and then scoring on the double by Zai. They were able to respond again and then find that final run there in the 6th and get that run rule victory. And like you said, it's just a game where it just didn't feel like nothing was going right.
Yeah, I mean, we even had a ball that hit the base. Perver hits a ball that hits the base, and like, what can you do? And then they were finding little holes, and we were hitting balls, but it was right at them. So it was definitely not our game. It was not meant for us to win that game. And I told them sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes you need your butt kicked a little bit, and just a wake up call.
Right. But then I think one thing that you like to see, or that you like as a coach, is the girls were able to find a way to bounce back and get a split, even though it took extra innings. You won this one 12-10 and 8. And I told somebody, I said this game was every bit of what you expected out of this doubleheader. I think two top 5 teams battling it out, giving each other their best right hooks every time, meeting punch for punch. But your thoughts overall on game 2 in the doubleheader?
Between the games, I was very frustrated, very ill, didn't understand what was going on with game 1. But I did tell them we've got to flush it. We've got to forget about it. And when y'all, if y'all go to the bathroom or go outside the field and you see your parents, tell them we don't even want to talk about it. It's over with, and we've got another one that we've got to focus on, and that's what we turned our attention to. Pearl River hit the ball. We hit the ball. A lot of pitching going on, but a lot of good at-bats. So we played much better the second game for sure. Still not as clean as we'd like to be, but we did play a lot better.
And you look at this one, and you scored 3 in the first and really got off to a fast start. Madison Moak hit a solo leadoff home run, I think on about the second or third pitch she saw in the at-bat, and then you got a couple of others able to score there. They answered, responded, scored 2, made it 3-2. You scored 1 in the second. They scored 1 in the second. We scored 1 in the third. They scored 2 in the third, and that's how we got to 5-5. And it stayed that way for a little while. Then Pearl River was able to score 3 in the fourth, and you're thinking, not again. We got to find a way to come out and respond, and they did. You had a 5-run fifth, and you take a 10-8 lead, and you're thinking, all right, we just got to get 6 more outs, or I think at that point maybe 9 more outs, and you turned to Emily Richard. She came in, got you 6 quick outs, and then struggled. I won't say struggled in the 7th, but gave up a hit or a walk. Allowed the runner to get on.
Base hit, leadoff base hit, yeah.
Leadoff base hit, and then Lainey Bailey comes up and. This is a player who I don't think it mattered what pitch you threw her. She was going to find a way to put it in play, if not out of the park. She hit a 2-run home run to tie it. And then the 8th inning happened. And the 8th inning got started off in probably one of the best ways you possibly could. A record-breaking home run for Abby Grace Richardson. AG hits one that went over the scoreboard at Pearl River. And I think when she hit it, everybody in the stadium just knew. And we've gone back and watched it several times, and you go, man, she just got all of that ball. And it landed in the woods behind the field. So, just talk about that moment. Talk about how special it is. You would love for a moment like that to happen at home, but for it to happen in such a big matchup in a tie ball game and to give the team the lead. Just talk about how much that energized the team going forward.
Well, I want to back up for just a second.
Okay.
When it was 10-8, bottom of 7, we get the leadoff. The leadoff gets a base hit. We already had 2 outs when Lainey Bailey comes to the plate. And I know everybody in the stands was thinking, and I'm sure the girls in our dugout and the girls on the field were like, why are we pitching to her? But early on in my coaching career, I was told you never put the winning run at the plate. You never do. And with it being the bottom of 7 at Pearl River, we knew Laney Bailey could do some damage. But in my mind, so could their next batter and the next batter, So if we would have put Laney Bailey on and the next girl hits a home run, it's not 10-10. It's 11-10 and we lose and we don't go extras. So, yeah, it was unfortunate that she did hit the home run to send it into extras and make it 10-10. But, that still gave us a shot to go on and win the game in the 8th inning. But anyway, yeah, 10-10, 8th inning. We already knew AG had tied the home run record. We knew her next home run was going to be the one that, made her the holder of the home run record. And, you couldn't have asked for a better moment for her to hit it. And she couldn't have hit it any harder, any farther. She got it all, And so if you're going to pick a home run to break the record, for you to hold the record, that was definitely the one. I mean, it came off the bat and you knew immediately it's gone, and it is way gone.
Yeah, I think I told her after that, I think that's the hardest home run I've ever seen you hit in your near 2 years here. She hit one last year in the region tournament over the scoreboard at Jones, and that one was hit hard. But I told her, I think you hit this one even harder. Had the trees not been there, who knows how far that ball would have gone.
Yeah, she got all of it.
But then you also look at, and when we said 12-10, so you got an extra run there, and you got it from a bat that, I think a lot of people may be surprised at the bat that it came up, but Sarah Grace Smith gets you an RBI double or single there and scores an insurance run. And Sarah Grace is someone that you turn to in both of those games, and she really came through for you at times when you needed her. And, again, to see that moment, to see a sophomore where, you said, all right, it's your time to shine, and she really paid off and came through for you, that's got to feel good as well, too.
Oh, yeah. And, when we started doing this coach's show at the beginning of the spring, I think I kind of told you, hey, Sarah Grace's bat has been really well this year, and I'm really proud of her. She has stepped up in some big moments for sure.
SG's bat's going to be another topic we talk about a little bit later on some games. But you look at the hitting in this one, you rebounded really well in this one as well, too. You only had 2 hits in game 1, those being the triple by AG and the RBI double by Zion. You look at this one, you had 13 hits. You got 3 from Moak, 2 from Sarah Grace Smith, 2 from Carson Huey. Those were your ones with multi-hits. AG had a hit. Zai had a hit. Kinley Ainsworth had a hit. Leah Phillips, Kinley Muldair, and Lainey Waggersback all with hits too. So just up and down the lineup, again, another time where you saw, and even with some pinch hitters, you saw where it just paid off for you in this one.
Yep, for sure.
And then you look at the pitching lines. In this one, Keegan McCorkle, she gets you 2 innings. She struggled a little bit, I think you would say, and even she would probably say she struggled a little bit. 2 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Taylor Everson comes in and did well for a little while, but then I think she, allowed a few hits there, those kind of things, those kind of all tailed together. 1 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And the one that really paid off for you was Emily Richard. Emily comes in, we've seen her pitch well in some bursts and things, but this is her longest outing of the year so far. 4 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. Yes, she gave up a 2-run home run, but she still got the win. And outside of that 2-run home run and those 2 hits, it was spectacular from Emily.
It was. And, Emily is a different look. She spins it really well. I noticed that from the first time I saw her. But it was really good for her. It was big for her to get the win in this game because she came in clutch for sure.
And then you go to this past Saturday, you hosted Awamba in a doubleheader, and you get the sweep, but you look at this one, and this is one where you say, we almost had to overcome ourselves in this one. Game 1 was a 2-1 walk-off. Game 2 was a run rule victory, but you had 5 errors, which is very uncharacteristic of the team. But overall, your thoughts on this sweep in the doubleheader?
I mean, anytime we can sweep in a conference series, it doesn't matter how we get it done as long as we get it done. And it was a total team effort. Game 1, we were not having great at bats. We were swinging at some pitches that we shouldn't have been swinging at. Just not being selective at the plate like we had been being. But, again, some clutch in the bottom of 7, a clutch double by Kinley Ainsworth. And then we got her over to third. And then all of a sudden, we're able to get that run on a sac fly by Taylor Everson. So, People stepped up when they needed to, and that's kind of what we've been talking about. It's like, hey, let's not wait till we have to do it, and let's just go ahead and do it from the start. So that's kind of been our story lately. Is we're just kind of coasting a little bit and waiting until we have to do something about it. And I'm like, this is not the way.
Yeah.
We don't need to do this.
It'd be really nice if we do this a little bit earlier.
Let's do this sooner.
Those kind of things. But you look at game one, you look at the stats from game one, not a lot to talk about hitting wise. You only had 2 hits, Moak and Kinley Ainsworth with the 2 hits. Again, you mentioned it, Kinley starting the 7th with that big leadoff double. And then Taylor Everson with the walk-off. Basically didn't play walk-off here on that one with a sac fly. I tell people all the time, base hits are nice, home runs are nice, but hey, sometimes a sac fly will do just as well as anything else. And you look at this one, Kara Biswell gets you a complete game in this one, and really I thought it felt like she rebounded and pitched well in this one. Despite giving up 8 hits, she only gave up the 1 earned run, and after struggling really against Pearl River, I don't think there's any other word you can use for it, but she did struggle there. But 8 hits, 1 run, it was earned, 6 strikeouts, a much more Kara Biswell-esque line that you used to seeing out of her.
I mean, she gave up 8 hits, and, you're thinking, okay, we shouldn't have given up 8 hits. But she did scatter them throughout the game. She didn't give up any home runs, so that was positive. And a few of the hits were literally just found holes, so sometimes you can't help those as a pitcher. But I was proud of her because when they did get runners in scoring position, and our defense as well, they played tight defense. And that was one thing I told them. I said, good thing we played good defense this game because we did not have an offensive blowout. So. And
then you look at game 2, and game 2 really looked, they took advantage of a couple of errors early in the first inning, scored a couple of runs. They're up 2-0. And then the bottom of the first happened, and you get bases loaded, no outs, and you're thinking, we're about to, the engine's roaring and we're going. And it really takes off because Kinley Ainsworth hits a grand slam and gives you a 4-2 lead just like that. And I think I told y'all, I said, a little interesting stat, and for those watching, you've played 3 of your last 4 doubleheaders after this one at home. All 3 of those you've hit a grand slam in game 2. Zykeria Cole doing it against East Central, Madison Moak doing it against Delta, and now Kinley Ainsworth at home against Itawamba. There's something special about playing at home. There's something even more special when you hit 3 grand slams and as many doubleheaders.
That's right.
And then you look at it, again, they score a run in the second, make it a 1-run game. They took advantage of a couple of more errors in the third, scored 2, took a 5-4 lead, and you're thinking, we've been here before, we'll be okay, we'll find a way. And boy, howdy did you. You scored 10 runs on 8 hits, I think punctuated by a 3-run home run by Madison Moak, turned around, had a back-to-back with a solo home run from AG. And those were not the only big hits in there. You had a 2 RBI single from Lainey Wagasback that gave you the lead at that point, a 2 RBI single from Avery Williams who extended the lead. And then you got later on in that inning, the last 2 runs were a 2 RBI double from Olivia Baines. And Avery Williams and Olivia Baines are players we haven't talked a lot about, but they came up huge in situations where you called their number this time.
They did. I was a little bit frustrated with the girls in this game because I bragged on them in game 1. I said we played so good defensively. We didn't hit it as well, but, we did good defensively. And then game 2, it was like, well, what is going on? Like, our defense was not where it needed to be. Like you said, 5 errors. That is not characteristic of us at all. And it was just really frustrating. So at that point, I was like, we gotta change something up. We got to mix it up. We got to do something different. And that's whenever we kind of just put a lot of new faces in there and said, we're going to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think when I was doing the play-by-play on stream, I think it was 5 through 9. I think we had pinch hitters, and then Moak came up, and I go, "Hey, look, not a pinch hitter this time around." But I think one thing that really stood out for me in this one was, Baines gets in, and I kind of talked about, she had been in a little bit of a slump, had really hit the ball really hard, and it unfortunately found glove. And I was like, I think if she can break out of it, she can just see one fall, even if it's hard contact and see one fall, that'll help her. She got a little soft single that fell, and then turned around later in that inning, got you a 2 RBI double that she made extremely hard contact on. So, anytime you can see someone like that who, she's been putting in the work and it's paying off for her, that's got to feel good going forward.
Well, O is a freshman, and she knows she's playing on a team that's really good, and we have high expectations. So she's been putting a little bit too much pressure on herself, and, just getting her to relax and having some success at the plate will help her overall, and I'm definitely glad to see it.
Yeah, I saw her after the game, and I gave her a big high five, and I said that had to have felt good after that one. She's like, it did. And then you look at the pitching lines. Keegan McCorkle in this one bounced back really well. I thought you only had to have her for 3 innings, and that benefits y'all, I think, as well too. She gave up 5 runs. Only one of those was earned on no hits. You know, a little bit of a weird stat line, but you still get the win. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and then you bring in Emily Richard, 2 innings, 2 hits, scoreless, and a strikeout there. So you're able to, you don't want to say escape with a sweep, but you kind of felt like you escaped a little bit because, you didn't play as well as you thought you should have.
Right.
And then you go to this past Monday. You had to move a game up. Got weather coming through the area. You're going, we got to get this one in. We don't want to push it back to the end of the year. Go ahead and get it done. So you go to Meridian. You face off against the Lady Eagles. And again, a doubleheader sweep where one of the games you really kind of had to overcome yourselves. You didn't play up to your standard as well as you wanted to in game 1. Still find a way to win that one. And then you got a run rule victory in game 2. But your thoughts overall on this one?
Well, Monday was the eclipse day. So, part of me was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. Sometimes, when it's like a full moon, you never know what's going to go wrong. So kind of the same thing with the eclipse. We're like, oh boy, and the day was weird. The weather was weird. We wasn't sure if we were going to get it in, but I'd already told Meridian's coach, look, we're coming. Let's try, because if we can get one of the 2 in today, that's better than nothing. Like, we need to try to get them in because we don't want to have to cram a bunch of games in together. But I will say we did not, again, have a good game 1. So I'm hoping we're going to change that up soon because game 1, we've been struggling a little bit. I don't know what it is, but obviously, in most of the time in game 1, they're going to throw their best pitcher. So, you're going to see an offensive struggle sometimes in game 1 just because we are facing their best pitcher usually. But we were not clean in this game either. Like, again, we started off not having great at-bats, too many errors defensively. And, again, we waited to the end to try to turn it on. Thank goodness there's 7 innings in the game because we like to play for the last 5, 6, 7. But we got the win in game 1, and that was positive. And, I kind of told him after game 1, hey, which I wasn't able to be there. But game 1, did get the win. Basically was like, hey, we played around in that game. It's all business game 2. Let's go.
So, and you look at this one, and you're down 1-0 after the first inning, and you're thinking, okay, it's just a 1-run deficit. We can overcome that and those kind of things. But, I wasn't able to go for this one. We had work around the office had to get done, unfortunately. Wish I could have gone, but couldn't. But you look at it, you go, 1-run deficit, we can overcome that. But it just felt like there for a little while, I don't know if it was pitcher, trying to time up the pitcher, we couldn't do it well. But every time I looked around, it's like, oh, we got somebody on base, we're out of the inning. Or we're going 1, 2, 3. Just, it feels like the last couple of times we faced a good pitcher in the one spot. They've done a good job of kind of keeping the girls off balance, those kind of things. And then you look at it, they scored 5 runs in the 4th, and remembering back, I don't think there was anything really necessarily hard contact or anything like that. A lot of salt, just they were hitting it where we weren't, unfortunately, and were able to score on it. But then the 5th inning happened, and you get the scoring started off in a big way. Abby Grace Richardson again coming through with another home run, a 3-run home run. And I have to be honest, I'm watching it on Game Changer, keeping up with it, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, they're going to pitch to her with this kind of a lead with 2 on in that situation. She can make this very interesting with one swing of the bat, and she did. So you look there, she gets that one, you score another run, you cut it down to 2, and you're thinking, okay, this is manageable. We can do this. And as we mentioned a second ago, we were going to talk about Sarah Grace Smith. Sarah Grace Smith came up with probably the biggest hit, I don't know if she'd say of her life, but definitely probably in her career here at Co-Lin. She ties the game with that 2-run home run in the 7th inning, and you're thinking, all right, we've got this. We can go.
It was definitely a game-changing hit. 6-4, and she hit the 2-run bomb to tie it 6-6, and that gave us momentum at that point. So that was a huge at-bat by her. Very proud of her.
And then, of course, you look, a name that we just mentioned, Olivia Baines, comes through, gets you those last 2 RBIs, really gives you the go-ahead game-winning hit right there. So, again, 2 names. Again, we don't always talk about them, but, again, as we've said before and as you mentioned earlier, you're going to give them opportunities, and they just got to be able to seize them when the moment happens.
That's right.
So, and you look at the pitching lines, or we'll look at the offensive as well too. But we talked about this. When you say you didn't hit well, you still got 11 hits and had 8 runs. But Moak had 2 hits. Kenley Ainsworth had 2 hits. Those were only 2 with 2. Taylor Everson got you a hit. Sarah Gray Smith got you a hit. Emery Warren, Kinley Maldair, Olivia Baines, and Lainey Wagesback all with hits in this one. So again, another day up and down through the lineup, you're able to get hits and including some pinch hitters as well
once
too.
Again, we put Lainey in a clutch moment, and she comes up with a hit again. So she's our she has been very clutch under pressure this year.
Then you look at the pitching lines. Kara Biswell, 3 innings pitched in this one, 3 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 7 walks, 4 strikeouts. A line that you're not used to seeing out of Kara. You're not used to seeing her walk 7 players. But this is one that you look at and you go, okay, Kara, you just flush this one. It just wasn't your day. Just get rid of it. We'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge for everybody. In this game, we had to find the umpire strike zone, and our girls were struggling a little bit. So that was the biggest issue, was just trying to find the zone and not able to. So then we brought in another pitcher, thinking, "Hey, Carly, come in and see if find the zone. You got to find the zone. We got to cut the walks out." And then Carly did pretty good. We made some errors behind her. We didn't do what we needed to do behind her to get her out of that inning. So that 5-run inning, honestly, was, again, uncharacteristic of us. Too many walks, too many errors.
Right. And you mentioned Carly. She got an inning, gave up 1 unearned run on a hit, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Emily Richard, again, you turned to her in relief, and again, for another time, it paid off for you. She gets the win, 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, scoreless of 3 innings pitched, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. So, again, another day where Emily, you turned to her, she said, okay, Coach, I got your back. Mm-hmm. And then you look at game 2, and you win this one 11-3, and you really jumped out on top of the Lady Eagles early. You scored 5 in the first, 2 in the fourth, and 4 in the fifth. There was a home run by AG in this one as well too, and I believe Taylor Efferson hit one in this one as well too. So again, if I'm counting right, I think that runs AG's career total to 40 on this, somewhere around in there. But again, a game where you got 11 runs on 10 hits, 3 from Moak, 1 from AG, 1 from Taylor, 2 from Emery, 2 from Kinley Maldair, 1 from Leah Phillips. There's your 10 hits there. So again, another, like we've said, up and down the lineup, you're getting hits out of everybody.
I think the biggest difference in our hits in game 2 versus game 1 was in game 2 we strung them together. Mm-hmm. Whereas in game 1 they were spread out. We get a hit, and then 3 outs. We were not stringing them together. So I think that's game 2. The reason why you see the biggest difference in the numbers that we put up run-wise was because we were able to get those runs together, those hits together.
So, and then you look at the pitching lines. Keegan gets the start in this one. 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 1 walk. Emily gets another win in relief. She pitched 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. That one was earned on 2 strikeouts. So a day where you turned to Em, she gave you 6 solid innings all day. So that's something, as a coach, I think you like to see, knowing you're getting down to the end, knowing postseason's coming. There's a lot of tougher tests coming. We've got somebody there in that bullpen. We've got 7 pitchers. All of them have proven stuff, but you've got some that are really starting to stand out for you.
Yeah, and that's going to come up huge. A couple years ago, I realized we have to be deeper in our bullpen. And we are deeper in our bullpen. So we can have a little bit of a shorter leash with pitchers instead of leaving them out there too long, saying, hey, we got to go to somebody else, And a lot of that depends on the hitters we're facing, what style of hitters they are, what pitcher's going to be the best against those style of hitters. So Emily did a really good job. She's done a really good job this past week, and I'm proud of her.
So now you look to finishing out the week, hopefully a well-earned day off maybe for the Lady Wolves coming up, but then you'll focus your attention. You've got to go on the road, go to Goodman, play the Lady Bulldogs of Holmes, a team that's kind of been up and down. We watch scores a little bit around the league. You'll see they'll split with somebody and those kind of things. But what do you know about the Lady Bulldogs heading into this one?
I know they've got one player that's really good. She's transferring to Southeastern Louisiana next year. And then I know they are going to be scrappy. They're going to play small ball. They're going to hit and run. They're going to be a lot like some of the other teams in our conference. But, we just got to go there taking care of our business and play what we do and play our ball, and the rest should take care of itself.
All right, sounds good. So lots of exciting things happening for the Lady Wolves. Again, they go 5-1 over their last 6. The only one they dropped was the first game in a split against the number 5 Lady Wildcats of Pearl River. They've got the Lady Bulldogs of Holmes on Saturday. First pitch on those, 2 p.m. That'll be on the road. We won't have that one on stream for you, but they'll come back the next week, play their final 2 regular season home games of the year. That feels weird to say. It feels like we just started the other day. We'll have both of those for you. We'll honor sophomores as well during one of those doubleheaders. But until then, stick with us through the break. Lots more to talk about. I'm Kevin Kaiser, Sports Information Coordinator here at Co-Lin. We'll talk to you on the other side. Welcome back in. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. And joining me now is our head baseball coach, Adam Chamblee. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Coach, obviously, a couple of doubleheaders have come through since the last time we talked. You dropped those 2 to Pearl River, but then you were able to bounce back. Guys were able to bounce back. You were 3-1 in your last 2, including a sweep over Itawamba. That's the one we'll talk about first. Your thoughts overall on going up to Itawamba? That's a tough task, but then being able to sweep the Indians and really kind of, you don't want to say right the ship, but it kind of feels like you're steering it back in the right direction. That was a huge sweep, especially coming off the heels of the losing both to Pearl River.
Yeah, no, it was a huge day for us. There's no doubt about that. It was a great weekend. We got to go up the night before. Normally, obviously, we go the day of, play 2 games, and come back. We got to go the day before, and we went to the Mississippi State-Georgia game, so that was really cool for our guys. To get to watch some baseball. Usually they're the ones playing and everybody's watching them, but they got to watch some baseball, and some of them had never been to Mississippi State and, seen that park and how nice it is. And so that was really cool. And then drove up, stayed the night in Tupelo, obviously played the doubleheader on Saturday, and it was a really good day for us, won a couple close games, and just a great weekend overall. I'm glad it worked out the way it did because you got to do something kind of fun for the guys and step back from it for a second, but also we handled business on game day like we have to. So just a great weekend for us, and like you said, it put us right back where we want to be.
And you look at both of these. I think the word of the day for both of these would be grit. The guys showed a lot of grit. Really kind of you don't want to say ran away with the first one early, but a lot of the scoring was done early. They scored a run in the bottom of the first, took a 1-0 lead. Guys responded with a run in the second, tied it at 1-1, took a lead in the third with 1 run, 2-1. They tied it, made it 2-2 in the bottom of the third. Then Hagan Combs steps up, delivers a 2 RBI single, gives you a 4-2 lead. They scored 1 run in the third. I think that was on a fourth. I think that was on a solo home run, and then it zeros the rest of the way. So, you look at it and you go, you really got to tip your cap to your pitching staff, including your bullpen. They did the job that they were asked to do and really kind of stepped up to the plate on that one for you.
Yeah, talking about the single that Hagan had, before that, we gave Tucker the reason that he may have gotten a hit and been he may have hit a home run, but I gave him hit and run. We had runners at first and second to kind of stay out of the double play and just trying to make some things happen, and which he does what he's supposed to do. He hits the ball on the ground. They throw him out at first, but we move the runners and stay out of the double play. And then the next hitter is Hagan. He hits the single that drives in the 2. So, looking at Tuck just doing his job there and making that happen to give Hagan the opportunity to drive those guys in. And, talking on the pitching side of things, I thought Bolin there were some innings where the pitch count got up and it kind of took longer to get to 3 outs than you would like to, but he still held his own, gave us a chance to win like he's pretty much done all year. There's been times that you wish the pitch count was maybe a little lower, the walks were lower, but he's still giving us a shot. There's no doubt about that. And then, I know we went to Lucas, and he was in there, briefly, and then, just because of the Pearl River game the other day with Galat starting and the pitch count never got super high, which that was kind of the plan. Hey, if they get out on us a little bit and Galat's still in the game, let's get him out and have him available for Itawamba out of the bullpen. And it worked out. I mean, we couldn't have drawn it up any better because he throws, I don't know how many pitches against Pearl River, and he throws 3 innings the other day in 24 pitches. I mean, and just absolutely – it's like, hey, here it is, and he pitched. It's not that he went and just punched out a bunch of guys, but pitched to contact, and you look up, and 3 innings later, and there's zeros, and we win a baseball game. So just being able to use him in that role as well was awesome.
Right. I think when I looked at the box score for for Kobe. I think it said 9 batters faced. He retired all 9 that he faced, and I think there towards the end of the game, I think that's kind of a string. I think he retired something like 11 out of the last 12 or something like. It was a string, a very impressive string for the bullpen. And you go and you look at all the numbers. You talked about Tucker. He had 2 hits. J.D. Weed had 2 hits. Isaac McClinty had 2 hits. Those were all you guys with multi-hit games. 6 of your 9 came from them. Hagan, Combe, Brentley Berry, and Spencer Wilson got your other 3. And then you look at the pitching lines. You mentioned it. Andon did get the win. Excuse me there. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. So, again, a little bit higher on the walks than you like him to be, but, I think that's just kind of part of it sometimes. Yeah. That's part of pitching. Sometimes it takes maybe a little while to lock into the zone and those kind of things. But, again, a line where Andon did exactly what you need him to do, gave you a chance like you mentioned. Lucas Harrington pitches 2/3 of an inning, gave up just 1 hit, and then we talked about Kobe getting his 3rd save, 3 innings, scoreless, hitless, and retired all 9 batters he faced. And that's how you get a 4-3 win in Game 1. And then in Game 2, excuse me again, I'm sorry. I just can't get my throat cleared today. You look at Game 2, another one where you faced an early deficit. Itawamba scored 2 in the bottom of the first, took a 2-0 lead. The guys responded, scored 2 in the second, tied it 2-2. They took a lead again with a solo run in the second. 3-2. Guys responded again, tied it 3-3, and it stays that way until the 5th inning. Both of you score a run in that one, and it's 4-4. And then the 7th inning, that's where you took the lead. You've got a run there in the 7th, and 5-4, and you're able to retire the side, I believe, in the bottom of the 7th. So just talk about Game 2 and talk about how nice it was to see. The guys responded in the way you wanted them to. Were able to overcome a couple of deficits early and really win kind of a slugfest in this one.
Yeah. It was awesome to see. I told them that I think we made 5 errors in this game. Mm-hmm. So there were opportunities even in Game 1. I still would not say either one of the wins was like super pretty, but at the end of the day, they're wins, and we're never going to complain about them. But we had chances offensively to kind of run away with this second game, and we didn't do it. We didn't take advantage of those opportunities. We also had, I guess, chances that we almost gave it away, but we were still able to overcome the errors we made. And the thing I was most proud of is, like, you didn't see guys pouting or they were mad about the errors, but it was, let's just keep playing, and I thought they did that all day long. I thought they've really done that all year to where, hey, it happened, but just keep playing baseball and see what happens the rest of the way. And we've had a lot of those games that were back and forth, back and forth games. We take a lead, lose a lead, take a lead again, and that's awesome to see that our guys have been pretty resilient in that. But no, I thought it was another just tough game, and, I mean, another thing that I don't know that we've done a whole lot in the almost 2 years that I've been here now is win 2 one-run games in the same day. It seems like we are finding a way to win now instead of in the past we've kind of found a way to maybe lose. I think we're learning what it looks like to go win a baseball game.
Yeah, that's 2 I think of your last 4 doubleheaders on the road where you've been involved in one-run games where, Delta, you lost both of those,
right.
And this one you win both of those. So it's nice to see that even within the same season you can face similar circumstances and find ways to be on the winning side,
right.
At least 2 out of those 4, and you talk about the 5 errors, the little bit of an oddity. Both you and softball commit 5 errors in separate Game 2s, and both of you find a way to win. That doesn't happen very often. You look at those kind and you go 5 errors. You're not supposed to win those kind of games.
No, right.
So, but you look at this one again, another game where you had 9 hits. Tucker Jones with a couple here. J.D. Weed had 2 as well too. So they had very good doubleheaders, both with multi-game hits there. Braden Bankston has a hit. Hagan Combe, Brentley Berry, Jordan McKenzie, Isaac McClinty, all with single hits as well too. So a game where you look at it up and down your lineup, guys produced for you throughout.
Yeah, that's obviously always good to see. So, hopefully we continue to do that.
So, and then you look at the pitching lines. Connor Pittman came out, did what he normally does. A little bit more of a line you're used to seeing out of him. 6 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs. Only one of those is earned. Just 3 walks and 9 strikeouts. He did give up a home run, but again, I think you and I talked maybe the Monday or Tuesday after these games, I looked at it, I said, Connor gave up a home run. We hadn't seen that happen very often this year. It's the first one he's given up in quite a while, but, still able to overcome that. I think that one happened early there. Yeah. I think that's how they got the 2-run lead, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is.
So, again, it's nice to see that, the first inning may have been a little rocky, but he was able to overcome that. And then Caleb Flynn gets his first save of the year, pitched 2/3 of an inning, got a strikeout and a ground out, I believe, so was very effective in coming in and relieving that one.
Yeah, I thought this outing for Pittman was probably I thought his stuff looked better in that game than it has in the last couple of weeks. And I know he's been dealing with some things. The arm hasn't felt 100% in a sense, but, he battled through it. I thought his stuff looked good. I thought the numbers obviously were fine. He did what I think he can do every single weekend. So really good to see the guy that hit the home run. Actually, I think they're going to be teammates next year. So I'm sure at Memphis, I'm sure they'll have a conversation about that. But that kid's a good player, for Itawamba. But yeah, and then Flynn, we went to him because they had several lefties right there in a row that I felt like they had not seen bowling great, in the first game. So, hey, let's go with the matchup left on left, and it worked out in our favor. So, great job all the way around on the pitching side in that game.
And then you look to this past Tuesday, games that thought they might be in a little bit of doubt because the weather had some rain move through the area a couple of times. It was a fun day for the Wolves, though. You get a split on a day where you felt like maybe you should have swept, maybe let Game 2 get away from you. But Game 1, you get a walk-off win, and that gets you the split. Overall, your thoughts on that day?
Yeah, definitely. We're right there. We're a hit away from the sweep, which would have been huge for us. But still, coming back in the first game to just win to split with those guys, always a good group in Meridian, was a very solid day for us. So once again, I think just talking about our team being resilient and tough and just battled back in that last one and even battled back in the second one. I would say Meridian, if they had anything to say about us after playing them on Tuesday, I'd probably be like, well, you better stay on them all game because they're not going to go away easily, which is something that I want every single team to say about our guys. So really proud of that and just – a solid day for us.
I think everybody who has played us this year, maybe with the exception of Pearl River, just because they are who they are, probably leaves going, man, they're tough. Thank goodness we don't have to play them for a little while. But you look at this one and go, and you're probably a little bit worried because after the first inning, you're in a 3-0 hole going into the bottom half of that inning. But guys respond, get you a run, probably had a chance maybe to even tie it up. But an inning-ending play only allows 1 run to score. But you cut it down to 2, and you're thinking, okay, we're giving ourselves a chance. They scored 1 in the third, and it's 4-1 at that point. And you're thinking, we just got to find a way. We have plenty of opportunities, plenty of time, and there were some opportunities before the sixth inning when you scored 3 runs. But you were still able to find a way to tie it and probably tied it in one of the most exciting ways you could possibly happen. I told you in between games, I said, I kind of called Tucker's inside the park home run, 2-run home run. We'll be able to show you that clip. But your thoughts overall just kind of on that inning and the ways the guys were able to produce and just, again, getting to see one of the most exciting plays in baseball. Inside the park home runs are extremely rare because you don't always have guys who have that kind of speed that Tucker has.
Yeah, honestly, I can't even remember how that inning got going. I remember Tucker's inside the park home run. The thing that was kind of...
I believe it was a Jordan McKenzie base hit.
Okay.
I think he had a leadoff double or a leadoff single, one of the two.
Yeah, okay. And then BB was on. But anyway, the thing that was kind of, I guess, played in our favor a little bit is the fact that we continued to hit some balls hard into the outfield, which at that time... You mentioned the rain. It had gotten wet. So now the ball's kind of skipping in the outfield, and Tucker hits that ball on the screws, and I think it 1 or 2 hopped the center fielder, and it kind of kicked the other way. I don't know that he misplayed it a little bit, but I don't know that he just totally made an error. It was just kind of the circumstances with the grass and everything else and the speed of the ball. But yeah, we were super happy that it got by him, and once it did, like you said, it was – all right, we're going to have a shot to touch them all here. So, super, super exciting and dramatic. And I think at that point, it gets everybody back in it. If we had anybody in the dugout that was asleep, then they weren't anymore
Right.
after that. I can tell you that. So once again, an awesome job by our guys.
Yeah, I think when you watch the clip, you'll see it. I think it was a one hop, and then it hopped away from him.
Yeah.
And when you think about the conditions, you're almost going, that ball shouldn't do that in those kind of conditions.
Right.
I think even the center fielder was caught off guard because you look at it, he looks like he's just going to play it on the hop. And when it kicked away from him, I think in his mind, he said, oh no, this isn't good.
Yeah.
So, but you look at it, you're tied 4-4, and then in the top of the ninth, they were able to produce and score a run. So going into the bottom half of the inning, you got to score at least 1 to tie it, 2 to win it, and you're able to find a way to score 2. You get a couple of base hits. I believe Hagen Cone got on base. He was ended up being the winning run. But the walk-off hero is the one we just mentioned. Jordan McKenzie gets you a 2 RBI double and just walks it off. And just seeing the guys just be able to celebrate and y'all, the coaching staff celebrate with them, it's just a great feeling knowing you were able to find a way to beat a really good Meridian ball team.
Yeah. It was awesome. But yeah, the inning started. I know I was kind of, Tucker did a drag bunt to get on, and I kind of couldn't believe that the third baseman was playing where he was. Right. I was sitting there like, please stay right there, because I knew what we already had on, and Tucker puts it down where he's supposed to, and I mean obviously he can roll, and he's standing on first base, and I'm like, all right, here we go. We got a guy on, and I still can't remember what all. You said Hagen had a hit, I think, and then
Hagen. You mentioned it. Tucker had the drug. Hagen got on by the aerial on third baseman. Hit a ground ball. Third baseman couldn't squeeze it, and that's how he was able to get on. And then you sack bunt him.
That was game 2, wasn't it?
No, I think that happened in game 1 as well. Or maybe Harrington or somebody. You had 2 on through the bunt and the air, and then you sack bunt them over as well too.
Yeah, they all run together at this point. But anyway, to get back to the main thing, J-Mac's hit was huge because it was second and third, right? 2 outs, had to. I mean, both of that was the game winning or walk it off run there. Huge hit by him and just staying on that ball and getting it down the left field line. Especially, he's a guy that has had some good days, and there's been some days where he struggled too. So it was really good to see for him. I was happy for him that he was able to come through right there, and you could see the excitement on his face. You could see obviously excitement on our team's face. So we try to push, hey, celebrate wins because they don't come easy, and enjoy winning, and not that you act like every win is a championship, but you do need to appreciate winning because it is tough to do at this level. Right.
I think if you want to know, just see kind of a moment captured in time, go look at the story we use for the game, the picture we use for the game story. That will encapsulate that moment perfectly. You see Jordan just yelling in victory, and you got a Meridian player just kind of looking back at him, going, they deserve that one, and then the guys running at him. So just a perfect capture of that moment there. But then you look at game 2, and this is one where you face, I think, arguably the ace of the staff in Meridian, and he did a very good job. I think he finished with double-digit strikeouts in this one. Did a good job of keeping the guys at bay. Even the contact he was giving up wasn't hard contact. He gave up, I think, 7 base runners through the first 6 innings. All of them were either hit by pitch or a walk. And you look there and you look at it. They've got a 1-0 lead after 2, 2-0 lead after 4, and despite the fact that he's pitching so well, you still had opportunities to score before the 7th inning. You just couldn't find a way to push one across, unfortunately.
Yeah, I knew he was going to be tough. We knew obviously we had watched video on him and knew exactly who we were going to see and what he was going to throw. And one thing that I kept telling our hitters that we got to get the fastball down. He kept living, belt to chest high, and we chased a lot of those. And a guy with a, high spin fastball like that, and he's upper 80s, low 90s guy that's kind of quick on you. It's going to be tough to match the plane of that fastball. So tried to get our guys, hey, everything's got to be belt down fastball wise to swing at. But he also he didn't just have a fastball. I mean, he threw the slider in 2-0 counts whenever he wanted. I mean, fastball slider basically whenever he wanted to, which kept us off balance. And there's a reason he's going to Ole Miss next year. I'm sure he'll make a I think he'll probably be a bullpen arm for them. I don't know that I see him being a starter, but either way, he will be a solid addition for them. But yeah, we knew we'd have our hands full there, but we were able to stay in the game and tied it up. Obviously, I'm sure we'll get to that, and just couldn't come through there at the end. Even though, like I said before, we were a hit away from the sweep, which is, it's you had them right there, and that's kind of tough to swallow. But I'm still was not disappointed at all at how our guys played, or not disappointed with the loss. It's a loss. So.
Right. You mentioned it. I think one thing I was really impressed by was even when Waters got in 2-0 counts to a lot of our hitters, it's just like he wasn't fazed by it. He'd throw a slider in there and either front door or back door and find a way to get a strike and just kind of get back into the at bat. But you look at it, the seventh inning is kind of where things really went right for your guys. Sawyer Dunn leads it off with a bunt single. Yep. That was the first hit of the game on a bunt single. And then Lucas Harrington draws a walk. So you've got 2 on, no outs, and you're feeling really good. And then the guys move over, I think, on a wild pitch, or they're getting scoring position. Tucker Jones hits a sac fly, scores Sawyer. And then this is where Hagan reaches on another error. Third baseman fields one, throws it wide. You had a little bit of a dispute here. Did the first baseman tag him? Did he not? We showed it on replay. It was really hard to tell even on replay. Personally, I think Hagan didn't get tagged because it went in my team's favor. Lucas Harrington's able to score there and really tie the game up. Lucas, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention, did a phenomenal job on the mound in game one. Came in after Ferguson struggled, pitched an inning and 2/3. Ferguson did, but Lucas came in, pitched 7 innings. I think gave up 2 runs and just a master class out there on the mound, and really was able to kind of lock things down and really keep those barrels at bay.
Yeah, the best outing of his young Co-Lin career right now. I don't know how we missed that earlier, but I'm glad that we got back to it because he deserves to be talked about for that one because he kept us in it and he absolutely competed his tail off, and I was really happy to see it.
The weird thing about that one, we talked about it after the game, was Jaden Duncan is the one who gets the win because you bring him in at relief. He throws 3 pitches to the guy, gets a strikeout, and he's the pitcher of record, so he gets the win. But really, you want to kind of put a little small W for Lucas because he's the one who kind of controlled things for you. But again, he scores that tying run for you, and you've got runners on second and third. I think it was second and third because you had J.D. Weed that got your base hit, and then another base hit after that as well.
I think we ended the game first and second. Hagan was at first because of the errant throw,
and then J.D. Weed hit a single and had him at second. And so Ryland Hemphill comes up. You gamble a little bit, go to your bench, go to a pinch hitter. Unfortunately, he strikes out, and that sends the game into extra innings. And that's really the difference is that strikeout and then go into extra innings. They scored 3 in the extra inning, hit a 2-run home run on a ball that I honestly didn't think it was going to leave the yard.
I didn't either.
Blaze Priester just kind of went out there and got that one. Unfortunately, they were able to score another run as well too. And then, despite I think it was a 1-out double by Jordan in the bottom of the 8th. Unfortunately, he was caught stealing on a ball that he read the dirt ball. I think he read it right, but unfortunately, it just kicked right back to the catcher. He was picked off, and then you had a single, but then an out after that. So that's how they got the 5-2 win. So just a couple of hard knocks there at the end of that game, but I think that's one you can look at and go, yeah, we didn't win it, but there were a lot of good things, and there are things that we can grow from on that one.
Yeah, I hope that I know I told them this, but there's no reason our guys should hang their head after a loss like that, especially, man, in a 7-inning game facing a guy like that on the mound, just the fact that we got back in it and tied and got to play another inning, was great. But yeah, I did not lose any. I don't really know the word I'm looking for. I was not any less proud after that. I was as proud as I was going to be for them. So.
And you look at the pitching lines. Kobe Gallat got the start in this one. Unfortunately, takes the loss. He pitched 7 innings, gave up 4 runs, all earned on 6 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Not a bad line from Kobe. I think of those 6 hits, only 2 of them were balls that were really hard contact. I think one of those is a home run, but again, as you and I both said, wasn't a ball that I don't think anybody in the facility thought it was leaving the yard. I think they were just as surprised as we were. Only 2 balls that were really hard contact. And then Jaden Duncan comes in, 1 inning pitch, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned on a walk. So, again, not bad days from either one of your pitchers. Unfortunately, they just had to take the loss today on this one.
Yeah, Gallant, I mean, once again, I sound like a broken record at times talking about pitchers, but I mean, he gave us a shot like he's going to do every single time. And I know he was a little frustrated with himself because, he holds a high standard for himself and he expects to go out there and dominate every single week. And that's what we love about him. But, that's not always going to happen. But he still gave us a chance to stay in the game and win the game. And we were right there. We were right there and we just didn't make it happen. But, no, I was extremely pleased with. And I thought Dunk in the first game, I think he only saw one batter, but that one batter was huge. I think he struck him out.
He did.
Yeah, that strikeout was huge because it kept the game tied, I think. So that was huge there. So I was pleased with the pitching all day long.
So you look ahead to what you got coming up this weekend. You'll host Holmes. It's your second to after this one, you've only got 2 home doubleheaders left.
Right.
And really, you look at it, you go in, you've only got 5 doubleheaders left. So you're at the tail end of the season here, and the guys are really right where you were hoping and expecting to be. You're right there in the playoff hunt. You're about in the eighth spot right now because of a tiebreaker situation with Northeast and those kind of things. But what do we know about the Bulldogs coming into this one? I know that's a team that I think they've only won like a couple of conference games, but that's very deceiving because they've been in a lot of close games as well too.
Yeah. No, they're going to be competitive, like you said, they've only won 2 conference games, but you also look back at us going to Mississippi Delta that day, and they had won 1 conference game at the time, and they sweep us. Not that it's just our league's so competitive, and if you don't bring it, not that our guys didn't bring it that day, but you have to be on your A game, so to speak, every single time, or anybody can beat you. I think that's true for almost every team in our league. I think we all know that, hey, if we don't show up today or if we don't perform or we slack a little bit, anybody can beat you. I know Holmes split with Southwest the other day, who's been a solid team in our league. So they're going to be good, and we're going to have to play really well. I think if we do what we're supposed to do, I think we could have a good day, and we really need to have a good day to put us back at 500, be 10-10 in conference. And I think if we do that, I think we're sitting in a really, really good spot. I mean, from here on out, it's easy to look at what if, other people help us out or kind of how some things shake out. But really, and I'm guilty of looking ahead too much, but if we just handle our business the rest of the season, I think we'll be fine, and I think we'll be in the playoffs. But that's still to be determined. So
lots of good and exciting things happening for the baseball team. Sorry if we got a little bit long-winded there, but it's always fun talking with Coach Chamblee, talking about what all the Wolves are doing. Again, 3-1 over the last 4. Sweep the Indians of Itawamba on the road, split with Meridian at home, and then we'll host the Holmes Bulldogs on Saturday. I'll be on the call on that one for you on the stream. The Lady Wolves will be at Goodman playing against the Lady Bulldogs. We also have women's tennis in Region 23 tournament action. That'll start on Thursday. If they win that one against Itawamba, they'll play more than likely Jones on the next day. Tune in to all of our social media channels. We'll give you all those updates as they go. Golf was also in the MACCC tournament this past week, finished 8th there. Have a couple of individuals qualify for the region tournament. That'll be a little bit later on. Hopefully we'll be able to bring Coach Ken in and talk with him about that as well too. But for now, I'm Kevin Kaiser, Sports Information Coordinator here at Co-Lin. Thanks for tuning in this week, and we'll see you on the other side next week when we talk more spring sports.